Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Confident Body series, proudly brought to you by the Bra Girl. I'm Bukola Adedeji. Yes, you know me. And so, welcome. This season, we're diving deep into the fundamentals, right? Mastering the fundamentals of optimal health because true confidence actually starts from within. Yes, we can talk about the undergarments coming on the lingerie to look pretty and all of that. But of course, we know that that's like the icing on the cake, right? So the icing is important, it makes it look good, but the cake has to be good as well. So, so that's what we're doing right here. Beyond bras, the body confidence is way beyond bras and the things we put on. They're important foundation garments, don't get me wrong, but we're addressing things that are deeper that helps even those things that are common to look better and feel better on you. More importantly, make you look good or feel good. So today we're talking about mastering the fundamentals of optimal health. It's the food we eat, it's how we move, it's the way we rest and restore, and many other things. So these fundamentals shape how we show up in our everyday lives. So on today's session, we're joined by an expert in the wellness industry. She has a very deep wealth of knowledge and lived experience that we'll be tapping into today. So enter Lorraine Clifford. She's a seasoned expert, and we're going to be hearing a lot of practical tips, things we need to know, especially if you're a woman over 40, things we need to know. I hear this a lot, perimenopause, menopause, and when I heard Lorraine talk about, you can even go through that without symptoms. I'm like, okay, get your notes. We've got to talk about this. So Lauren, thank you very much. So everyone grab your notebooks, let's get comfy and let's get into this. Lauren, thank you so much for coming today. And I know that we'll still have more conversations here, but we're starting from who you are, what you do, and the journey that has brought you here. I can tell for sure that much of what we offer in terms of value is usually coming from our lived experience. Yes, we have to get the skills and learn some competence, capacity building, but at the core of it is that we have lived this and we can come to tell you the first-hand story. And that's why I'm excited that you're in today. So tell us about yourself, and then we'll lead this into what you do.
Okay. I have been in alternative health probably somewhere around 30 years. And the thing that pushed me into this, and like you said, we all have our why we do things, right? Well, my health took a turn when I was 36 and I got diagnosed with cancer. My mom had passed away with cancer 6 years earlier. And she had breast cancer, which metastasized to bone cancer. Now, the cancer that I manifest was not anywhere related to what my mom had. Nothing. And the medical system did not give me much hope. I had 4 young kids at home, 36 years old, working full time. I was doing the bookwork for my husband's uh, contracting company and, running with the kids. My life was full. It was, matter of fact, if I needed to do something, I was stretching my hours and working through the night. And then, telling my body, sleep hard and fast because we've only got 3 hours, right? And then back at it the next day. So yes, I was abusing my body. Yes, I was tanked. And that's when these kind of things rear their head. And it's not, a lot of people think, well, okay, your mom had cancer. Who else in your family had cancer? It's hereditary. No, it's not. Genetically, we have the disposition, but it's the terrain, what's going on inside the body that makes it whether you manifest that or not. So if I viewed life and did life the same way my parents did, and let's say they had arthritis as they grew older, then my thought was, I'm susceptible to that, but I'm not unless I am doing life the same as what they did. So we've got to really, really come to terms with that aspect, because a lot of people, they just expect. I talk to family members and they expect to have the same problems. And we have truly been ruled, schooled, and fooled to believe that the body does not know how to heal. We get a cut and we don't question the fact that it's going to heal. My question to you is why? Why do we question everything else? The body knows how to heal. All we have to do is give the body what it needs. So when I was 36, I thought I was more crunchy granola than the majority of people out there. I wasn't going to McDonald's and I wasn't buying Oreo cookies, but I still had wheat, dairy, white sugar in my house, and these cause a lot of inflammation. Plus the fact that I was running on empty, it doesn't take long for the body to say, hey, we can't neutralize these free radicals anymore. We just don't have the time. You're too toxic on an emotional level and on a physical level and a spiritual level. Because I know my connection to God's source was tanked also because I wasn't giving attention there. So did it shock me that I got diagnosed with cancer? Yes, it did. Because I honestly thought I was healthy until the moment they told me I was not. And I didn't know any better back then. I just, they said, this is urgent. You have to get treatment right away. We want to do chemotherapy, then we're going to do surgery, and hopefully we'll give you a few more, a
Wow.
little bit longer life. But they really didn't give me much hope, really. They they basically said, prepare for the worst.
Wow.
And here I am. I'm 67. So 31 years later, and it has never reoccurred, and
Wow.
it was because, the first year I did exactly what the medical system said. But somebody had handed me a book and they said, Lorraine, you need to read this book. And it was called Love, Medicine, and Miracles by Bernie Siegel. Now, at that time when he wrote it, like this is a long time ago, at that time when he wrote it, he was an oncologist. And he basically said, leave all the stuff to the medical system for them to do. Just leave it in their hands. But what you need to do is up your supplements. You need to start slowing down and taking time for yourself and coming back to the body and actually visualizing the body getting healthy. So that was kind of the whole, in a nutshell, what he had to say. And I did what he said. I started taking a lot of supplements, way more than the average bear, because
Mm.
I introduced more greens. I mean, I was a good eater. I love my greens anyway, so introducing more was pretty simple.
Mm.
And one of the things that I did do, which I think may have been the thing that turned everything, is I started eating apricot seeds. And back then you
Okay.
could find them in a health food store. Now you cannot. You cannot find these in a health food store, but you can get your hands on them. You just got to know where to get them. You just got to know where to get.
Mm.
But
Mm.
definitely, if anyone's out there and you've been diagnosed with that C, and just know that that is just inflammation. Inflammation is something our body knows how to deal with. It's just when it gets so out of control, like me,
Mm-hmm.
when I was
Mm-hmm.
36, you know,
Mm-hmm.
then we
Mm-hmm.
have to start doing things, and we have to be
Wow.
proactive, and we have to come back to honoring our body and
Mm.
really respecting.
I Yeah, I love that you make that connection between the body, the mind, and the spirit, because in the mainstream medicine, like that's not the thing, that's not the norm. We just treat the body. and then it seems like, okay, if there's something wrong with this part of the body, if you can actually do away with that, just cut it off, let it not be any problem anymore. For me, that threw up some questions for me, like, okay, that served a function before now. So what happens with the function it's serving after it's gone? So for me, I'm like, okay, the body has compensated for it that way. But then even beyond that, I'm like, the body, there's so much emphasis on the body. And it seems like the causal factors are not being considered here. What's causing this? What environment is this? So I love that you also link it back to stress. I had stress, like when you say you were running on empty, that must have been so stressful. Nowadays, everybody seems to be stressed, right? Everybody seems to be stressed. So how can we approach this? You came out of here. So walk us through your healing journey. I know you've gotten it up to a point. Tell us, you told us how the turning point. Walk us through this, and let's see how can we optimize our health, without necessarily depending on the medicine, on the tablets, on the all of these things. If the body can heal, what should we be giving to our bodies? At what age? In what space? Because Dee talked about even the environment is something you have to think about, right? So let's just walk us through it. I'm going to give you time to talk about this, and then I could just jump in with some questions to like clarify. But I'd like you to just let us know about this thing.
Okay. So our body, our bodies really just need okay, let's get back. We are living in the most toxic world that is have ever been. There
Oh.
is absolutely no way you can get healthy just by taking supplements and eating well. You can't. You can't.
Mm.
Like, I know I went back to school after going through the protocol. I went back to school and became a holistic nutritionist. And because I thought there's got to be a way that I can eat my way to health. There's got to be some foods out there that I'm lacking, right?
Mm.
And yes, there's, super fruits and super herbs, and they're going to help, but you're still not going to get there. You're not going
Mm.
to get there. You've got to come at it on all four levels. So the diet, what are you putting in? What is it that is truly going to support your body? You know, we are electromagnetic beings. Now, when you get your head wrapped around that, you understand that the only thing my body hangs on to from what I put in is the frequency. So if I'm putting in apples and carrots raw, they have vibrant frequency. They have what I call life force, right? They're juicy. It is the life force in there that my body hangs on to. Everything else gets excreted. Now, if I'm eating 3 meals a day, I should be having 3 good bowel movements. And the bowel movement should look about the quantity of what I ate. It should be coming out the other end. And most of us, because we're running this on this hamster wheel, we do not give ourselves permission to slow down. Nothing is working right. When I am in the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight, I am not digesting properly. I'm not breathing properly. I am not my body has taken all the energy, all the sugar glucose that it converts everything into, and it has shunted that to my extremities so I can run or fight. But if I'm not running or fighting, then I've got sugar running through my veins and my arteries too much because I'm not using it. So I could get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Did you know there's more children getting diagnosed with type 2 diabetes? Now, type 2 diabetes used to be adult onset. That is what was happening to adults maybe 25 years ago. And now we see children getting diagnosed with it. So it's more than just what you're putting in, it's how you're doing this body. How many times are you allowing your body to come back, first of all, to the present moment? We're so worried about what might happen and concerned about what did happen that we don't pay attention to this now. And we don't take, we don't hold on to the possibilities of now, because now is the only time for change. We can't change the future, and we certainly can't change the past.
Mm-hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, we can influence the future, right? By changing the now. The now is the only place that we can change. So
Okay.
you've got to really start honoring your body. You've got to give yourself permission to slow down. You've got to give yourself the time for the body to get back into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is sorry, won't let me. Sorry about that. Should have put it on do not disturb.
No worries. So the first level now on 4 levels, you said, I think the first level we are on now is diet.
Yes,
Okay. So my question then now is, and with what you've said, because for me, my experience has been, oh, it's either this has so much salt or so much sugar. And we find them on probably 80% of on the shelves of the grocery stores. So my question now is, so what should I invest in when I go to the grocery stores?
the
Or
biggest.
should I be planting my garden or something like that?
You know what? Yes, we should be planting our own garden. We should be
Oh.
utilizing the space that we have to grow our own fruits and vegetables and herbs and sprouts. These are the things that have life force. Now, if I'm looking at a label, yeah, reading your labels is important, but absolutely everything processed, packaged has to hit what's called the bliss point. Coca-Cola was the first one to come out with the bliss point. And what it does is it heightens all 5 senses beyond natural, chemically. And when we have something that is processed packaged, it stimulates the front of our tongue and we get a hit. We get this hit of, oh my gosh, this tastes so good. By the time it has gone to the back of the throat, we haven't even swallowed yet. We want the next bite.
We want more, yes.
We want more. We want more. And that's why they've got us hooked on processed packaged stuff, is
Mm.
because of this bliss point. And also, there's over 4,000 chemicals on what's called the GRAS list, which is generally recognized as safe, that they don't have to list on anything. And they have never been tested as a group. They've been tested as a single thing. And I spent some time in Ixtapa, learning more and dealing with a lot of people with health crises. And I decided I wanted to see if I could bring up that GRAS list, and I couldn't find it anywhere. When I went and got certified as a holistic nutritionist, I could find it, but you can't anymore. It's hidden. It's done. It's hidden. I know it's there, but um, the
Hmm.
future may never know, may never know that there
Hmm.
are chemicals they
Hmm.
can be adding. So we are being poisoned, from the air, from the ground, from the water, our thoughts. We have been programmed at a very young age, especially women. Our we are the caregivers. We are the one to take care of our family and make sure our family is safe and healthy. This is our job. But as society started changing, women started getting into the workforce. We used to be just the home care. And nowadays, we're the home care and we bring in an income and who knows what else. We're running kids all over the place. Yes, we're exhausted. Yes, by the time we're in our 30s, our body is starting to tank. It says, sorry, you can't run like this anymore. I'm going to give
Mm.
you a little, something and a little, hopefully it's not a real big kick in the butt, but maybe it's, my back is sore. Believe me, your low back being sore has more to do with the thoughts and how how you see yourself going forward in life than it does with I tripped as I was, going into the house. It's got more to do with this than the other.
That is mind blowing. That is so mind blowing. Oh my God. Okay. So can you let's back up a bit because I want us to get this point so well and practical tips from it. Let's wrap up diet. What are the four levels that we need to go through in taking care
Okay.
of ourselves?
Okay.
First,
So diet means coming back to what Mother Nature gave us in the package she gave it to us. I don't trust anything that is processed packaged, even if it says it's organic and it's certified, or because there is so much that they can do without our knowing. So I'm going to take control where I can. I'm going to
okay.
make my whatever I'm eating in my home. And I'm going to make sure I'm using raw goods. So that means I am actually going to make sure that what I'm putting in my body is more raw than it is cooked. Because as soon as I cook anything, I'm going to diminish the life force. Yes, you can steam your vegetables and they still have some life force in them. But if you've cooked them in a stew, they don't have the life force in them. Yes, they taste good. They're warming, especially in the winter, but
Mm,
we still have to have that life force because at the end of the day, the only thing our body truly hangs on to is that vibration, that frequency. So when we wrap
mm,
our head around that, when I go to the grocery store, I'm looking at what am I putting in my basket? What am I paying for? And how is that going to affect me when I have something that's processed packaged? My body has to pull from my reserves to break it down. If I do not have the reserves because I have a condition, and that could be diabetes, that could be arthritis. So there's a lot of people walking around with diabetes, arthritis, anxiety, depression, and they're on something and they consider themselves healthy. I don't
mm.
consider a person who's on medication healthy. You're on medication for a reason,
For a reason.
right? And medications numb the symptoms. That's what they do. So you think that you're healthy, but you haven't gotten to the root cause of why
Root
you
cause.
manifested the arthritis, why you manifested type 2 diabetes.
Mm.
You're not getting to the root cause. So that root is still growing and is getting worse.
Wow. That just hit me in the face. That root is still growing.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Te- Tell me, what's your typical grocery list like?
I would say a good at least 85, if not 95% of what I'm putting in my basket is fruits and vegetables, and they are raw
Mm,
because I know that is going to raise my vibration. Everything is about vibration. I can raise my vibration. I can raise my vibration by how I think. If someone dumped on me and I take that energy on me, on my vibration is going to go down. So now I got
mhm,
to figure out how can I bring myself back up. I mean, my thoughts are going to do that. My words are going to do that. They are so powerful. And my loving myself as where I am as I am is going to do that. but so does eating raw and fresh fruits and vegetables. So we really have to think of, you know, Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden. They were not, uh,
Wow.
they were not, um, killing animals. They weren't killing animals. They weren't cooking stuff. They weren't.
Ah, wow. Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden. Wow.
Yeah,
So fruits and vegetables raw. That means by raw you mean not frozen, not baked,
frozen
not
would be
processed.
fine. Frozen would be fine because they're in a state that they still have life force when they're thawed. So
Okay.
if you're doing smoothies,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. And 5% would be the allowance you give to any other thing. Okay, I have fruits and vegetables I can do this with. Is that it? Or there is something else that 5% must comprise of?
Well, when you're in a disease state, you need to raise that vibration. And when we're looking at foods, the only thing that raises vibration is fruits, vegetables, and actually powerhouse is sprouts because these are the big,
Brussels sprouts?
no, sprouts,
Okay,
sprouting,
just sprouts.
yeah,
Okay.
like mung beans, sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, because these are the babies. They are still in a growing state when you eat them.
Mm,
Apple is done growing when I eat it, right? It's off
mm,
the tree. These guys are giving us so much vibration. So, when I go through winter, especially here, I mean, it's cold. I like to have soup or something like that in the
yes.
evening. And I do drink a lot of herbal tea and I do spice it up. I spice it up with I'll put some cayenne pepper in, or I'll do ginger or
Yeah.
something that's going to bring that heat up. But
Mm-hmm.
when I have a meal with something cooked, I am going to make sure that I introduce more raw uh, vegetables on there. So
Okay.
if I'm doing a soup, say a vegetable soup, I'm gonna grate up some carrots and I'm gonna throw in some sprouts or maybe throw in, a good cup or two of spinach just to bring up the vibration. So after
Mm,
I've served it, I'm gonna put that in. So I know
mm-hmm.
I've got life force in there. So I'm always thinking, how can I make this pleasing and satisfying. It's more the emotion than anything else.
Yes, yes. Okay, before we go to the next level, I know that there's a lot of like we eat so much sugar and salt that if you want to stop that right now, it's probably so hard to do, and then it may be a struggle. How can one navigate that?
What
Right?
what I
Just
tell people, you know what, this is a huge change. And I didn't make it overnight. Like, no, I didn't. I started looking at what can I start to push away from. And sugar I would say wheat was the first thing that I was able to take away.
oh,
And
wheat is in everything.
it is. It it is. And sugar is in everything too. It's just
Everything. Yeah.
packaged sugar. But 1% a day, that's what I ask people to do. 1%. Change 1%. That's it. Now it's
Mm,
doable. And then you've got 100 days to get to that goal. Unless you're
mm,
in a huge crisis, that most people aren't going to do what I'm asking them to do. Like,
mm,
I mean, they would consider the 1% a day, but they're not going to jump into with both feet. Most people don't do that unless they're in a health crisis. And yes,
mm,
that'll get you out of a health crisis. You got a front end load, right? You don't
yeah.
have the time where
Definitely.
somebody who's just dealing with, I know I just who's dealing with arthritis or type 2 diabetes, um, definitely you've got something going on, but you
Mm,
you can do that 1%. because we're so ingrained. I mean, we've been told that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Did you know that if we honor our body and circadian rhythm, our body's circadian rhythm, our digestion doesn't fully wake up till noon? So anything you're putting in before that, it's kind of like, if I came into your room and you were sleeping and I had pots and pans to wake you up, you're going to go like this, right?
Yes,
Well,
yes.
my digestion isn't ready to wake up. It's not ready to wake up till about noon.
Hmm. Hmm. Nice. Okay, so great. Just start with one question. That makes it doable, totally doable. Let's go to the next point, number two.
So the nutraceuticals. And I have tried a lot of supplements out there, a lot of supplements. You've really got to be careful. There's so many synthetics out there, and they've been, altered, and there's fillers and emulsifiers and stuff that really shouldn't be in there, because if you're taking a vitamin C, let's just say, you're taking a vitamin C, you're expecting it to work and boost your immune system. But if it's got binders and emulsifiers and who knows what else in there, it's, preservatives, it's not going to work. And most vitamin C out there is synthetic. So you've got to
Mm,
find the right kind. And that comes with knowledge and research and knowing, really knowing what to look for.
okay.
Yeah.
What are the supplements that a woman over 40 approaching menopause, what are the supplements that she should be looking at?
First of all, I would want to make sure that the large intestine was functioning properly, because the majority of people are compacted, which means they may be having bowel movements, but their bowel movements are skinny like that instead of being like this. So when they're skinny like this, you got to wonder, okay, where's the rest? It's compacted on the inside of the large intestine. And then a lot of people get constipated, and then they'll have diarrhea, and they'll flip-flop from constipation to diarrhea. And the diarrhea is your body just doing what it needs to do to get the rivers moving, right? It's going to pull water from all things. So the first thing you need to get under control is your large intestine. You need to get it functioning properly. So I would be on a good cleansing tea, something that is easy and something that you could be doing on a daily basis that doesn't have any stimulants in it. And I would be looking for something that, is made organically and sustainably. And if somebody wants to know more about the products that I carry, they can reach out, because I have done the research. Yeah. So a daily cleansing tea, that large intestine has to be moving.
Okay, nice. The next one, large intestine, then what other supplements for what other part of the body?
We have to be detoxing on a regular basis. So I would be looking at products, something that is going to help with your digestion and repair the gut lining, because everybody has leaky gut. And I'm going to tell you right now, leaky gut is not what you think it is. Leaky gut is actually leaky large intestine. And what
Mm,
happens is when you're not chewing your food well enough and you're swallowing pieces that are too big for your stomach to break down, it ends up churning and churning in the stomach, and as it goes down into the digestion. and we get bloated, and then we get gassy. Bloating and gassy means that something putrefied in my body. When something putrefies, I'm feeding the bad bacteria, the fungus, and the parasites. So they are getting, they are growing, and their colonies
Wow.
growing. The worst predator is the fungus, and it makes its way into the large intestine, and it actually drills holes in the large intestine. There is where the leaky gut is happening. So just think about it. You've got a screen door in a submarine. There are things getting out of that large intestine, dropping down into the pelvic bowl, and you're creating a manure pile. And
That
that,
sounds morbid.
well, Elvis Presley died with 90, not 90, 60 pounds of fecal matter in his pelvic area.
What?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
60
hey.
pounds. 60 pounds. He definitely had urinary problem and an enlarged prostate if it wasn't cancerous. And when we look at
Wow.
women, what is down there? We've got our bladder. I don't know. I can't count the amount of times I had a yeast infection when I was, between the age of even 18 all the way up until I'm going to say 40. I can't count the number of times I had a yeast infection and
Mm.
or a bladder infection or irritation in the vagina. I mean, all these things, when these organs are sitting in a manure pile, they get irritated first, right? If I'm rolling around in a manure pile, my skin's going to get irritated. And then
Mm.
it's going to get inflamed because now my body says, we got to do something. We're going to thicken and tighten so this doesn't bother us as much, right? So if I'm looking at the bladder isn't going to be able to hold as much because the tissues are thicker. So the inside of the bladder has gotten smaller. So as we age, how many seniors and even younger people, I would say in their 40s, have to go to the bathroom and eliminate more often. And
Mm.
then sometimes that sphincter, because everything's swollen, it's not able to open and close properly. So now you've got leakage. You look in Costco and see how many different types of Depends are out there and the pictures that are on the Depends. These are 30-year-olds. It's not
Wow.
an 80-year-old.
Mm.
This is a real problem. So
How often? Okay, go
we
on, please.
have to be able to do something to bring the toxins out of the body to make sure that we're following some basic food guidelines like chewing properly, eating when I'm happy, not bringing a heated conversation to the table because I'm not going to digest that. Food combining, people have forgotten that that's even a thing. Did you know that meat and potatoes, they don't combine? It doesn't matter how you put them together, they do not combine.
What?
And
Meat and potatoes?
I'm
We hear
telling
them
you,
together a lot.
spaghetti and meatballs, no way. Um, uh, Bacon and eggs and toast does not. We've been ruled, schooled, and fooled.
Wow. So, do you have a recommendation that people can take advantage of in terms of um, food planning their meals, taking care of the diet, and then supplement? Do you have any programs like that right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
And
fantastic.
actually, we uh, I work with the Doc of Detox, and that's what I'm certified in. And I'm a master practitioner trainer. So I teach a women's pelvic health course. And I have, I mean, anybody can go and download the Perfect Day Lifestyle Guide, and it's over 550 pages of health information, and it is going to open your eyes to what's happening, why it's happening, and how you fix it. So
Okay.
I would encourage people to go to P as in Paul, D as in dog, G as in good, and then free, FREE.com. And you'll
Okay.
be able to download that book.
Okay. All right. I have that down. Okay.
It's,
I'll link that in this video.
yeah.
Okay. So supplements. So I've not heard you say vitamin D,
Well,
magnesium,
you do.
omega-3.
Yeah, you do. I would make sure you're on a good vitamin D3 that has K2. And the majority of people think 5,000 international units. No, you need probably 20,000. Again, if vitamin D was discovered now, they would call it a hormone modulator. So it is needed in absolutely every system, every movement the body makes. It's more than, helping to build better bones. So
Gotcha.
I would up the amount, and I would make sure that you've got a little bit of K2. You don't need a whole lot of K2, just a little bit.
Okay.
And most people think, well, I can go outside and I can get my vitamin D that way. Aha. But most people in the sun put sunglasses on. Did you know that the sunglasses inhibit the absorption of vitamin D from the sun? Because your eyes have to have that sun going into them.
Mm.
And then sunscreen, sorry, you're not getting vitamin D. You're not,
Okay.
you're not getting vitamin D. And if you've got darker skin in a client like here in Canada, where we're farther away from the sun the majority of the time, we may have a month in the summer where we might be able to get our allotted vitamin D. But if my skin tone is darker, my body's not going to absorb it as much. My people typically with darker skin tone were closer to the equator, right?
Yes. Like
Yes,
me.
yes. Well, so I'm just saying,
Yeah.
so someone like you would have to be on a supplement. There's no way that you could do it. Someone like me, I'm in here in Canada, I take vitamin D through the whole year.
Mm,
Because
okay.
I know I'm not getting enough. And I know if I get it tested, the doctor's going to say, oh my gosh, your vitamin D is off the charts. But they're counting on people only having 1,000 units a day.
Mm, mm,
There's very few people who are up to the 5,000. But I'm
okay.
telling you, in this toxic world, we need to be 20,000. Yeah.
Wow.
And then
So give me the,
I would
go on, please.
also make sure that you're on a good multivitamin, because our fruits and vegetables do not have that in it as much as they did 50 years ago. 50 years ago, our ground still had the nourishment in it to support these fruits and vegetables. Our ground doesn't have it anymore. So that's why your tomato doesn't smell like a tomato and it doesn't taste like a tomato.
Mm,
So
wow.
we
So
we need to be
that,
on a multivitamin, and I would also be on some kind of omega supplement too. And I have noticed that the fish ones, they make me burp. And I know that when I'm burping and I'm feeling gassy, something's putrefying. So, I know I bought high-end krill for that, and I burped it up every time. And I thought, well, it's fish, right? So I should be burping up fish, right? No,
hmm
that meant it putrefied. So that was money out the window, down the toilet.
Okay. Okay. Are you able to say where people can get this from, or do you have an arrangement for that? Do you?
Yes,
Okay,
our
nice.
ours the one that I have here is coming from seals, and seals are mammals. We're mammals. So it works with us the best. That's the best that's out there.
This omega-3, then you mean the
Yes,
omega-3s? Okay.
megas, megas.
That's interesting. Like so much details that you have to pay attention to, even with these things we consider mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned about some three now, vitamin D with K2, a good multivitamin, omega-3. Magnesium is a buzzword I hear all the time right now. Do we need because I've heard the school say magnesium will help you digest your food. I've heard no, magnesium comes from the body, you just have to help your body produce it more, something like that. What gives?
Okay, so magnesium when you ingest it, it relaxes the body. Calcium, when you ingest it, it contracts the body. We don't need to be on calcium. We have displaced calcium. We don't need to be we don't need to introduce more calcium into our body. A lot of people think, oh, I got bone problems, I need to have more calcium. No, you don't. That's going to exacerbate the problem.
Okay.
So we don't want to be taking a calcium supplement. We want to be taking a magnesium supplement. Magnesium helps calm the body. And we are so tight. You know, we are again in that sympathetic nervous system. We're ready to run or fight at the drop of a hat.
Mm,
And we run our body in that sympathetic nervous system where nothing is working properly. We need to be
okay.
able to come back to the parasympathetic nervous system where the body is calm. So
Mhm.
yes, we are deficient in magnesium. So yes, getting yourself on a good magnesium would be great. There is some that you can take internally. I carry a powder, and I also carry Ormus magnesium spray because magnesium actually gets absorbed better through the skin.
Okay.
But you
Okay.
can take it orally and it will calm the body. And most
Nice.
people, you should take it just before you go to bed because you're going to sleep better and you should have a good bowel movement in the morning.
Okay. So this is it will definitely be good for women over 42, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So number three. So we have the diet, the supplements. What's number three?
There's just one more thing that I would highly recommend is Ormus minerals because
Okay.
Ormus minerals,
How do you spell that? Because I've never
O
heard of it.
ORMUS. So
Okay.
Ormus minerals are the smallest molecular size. So they go very, very deep in the body. And if you look up Ormus minerals, they support tissue health. So if you've got leaky gut, if you've got maybe you've got a kidney that's not quite working properly, or maybe you've got, something else that's not quite working properly. This is going to support the tissues. But the most important thing it does is it supports your life force, the etheric body, the part of the cells that you don't see, but you need. This is
Mm,
the energy body. So just like anything else, this is going to raise that vibration of the body. And it is powerful, powerful.
I don't. Where can you get? I don't think you can find this on the mainstream
Now,
farmers because when you say that, I'm like, okay, I've never heard of this before. So, but I'm
a
sure
lot of
people can
a lot of people
connect with you.
turn to electrolytes, but electrolytes, not the majority of them out there are got too much other crap in them. So this
Mm.
is I carry an Ormus Minerals that is liquid. You can put it in absolutely anything liquid, and you will feel the difference. You
Nice.
even cook with it because you cannot diminish minerals.
Great. That's fantastic. So then we go to the third level. We have covered diets, supplements. We have two more.
The third one was exercise. So
Ah,
again, we are electromagnetic beings, so we need to move. We need to move. And I doesn't, yeah, I am not into hitting the gym and bodybuilding. I don't want to rip and tear. That's what bodybuilding does, right?
ah,
I want to stretch and hydrate. That's what I want. So it's not about doing things that are hard. It's about incorporating things that are going to work into your life that are relatively easy and going to give you the bigger bang for your buck. So lengthening and strengthening and toning is what you want, right?
mm,
So that would be like doing some yoga, uh you could do some rebounding, just 10 minutes of rebounding. It's pretty simple. And when you're rebounding, you're not taking your feet off the mat. You are not jumping. You are rebounding and it's slow. And you're allowing that lymphatic system to move is
mm,
one of the things that we need to get going. Some people will do a vibration plate. That will do the same thing in a quicker time frame. I also encourage people to do squats. So squats, most people would think, okay, I'm going to go up and down in a squat. No, you're going to go down and you're going to hold it because this is about lengthening and strengthening. So you go down into a squat and you're going to see if you can hold it for 5 minutes. So when
5 minutes
yes, 5 minutes.
without leaning on the wall or leaning on the wall or something.
Yeah, so it's baby steps in the right direction. If I can't hold a squat, then I know when I first started doing this, I would do it beside in my bedroom and I would go down into the squat and I'd hold the bottom of the bed under where the mattress is, right underneath there. And I'd be able to do the squat. So eventually I was able to let go of that and do the squat.
Or a full squat down, or the midway.
Full
Is it the
squat.
full squat down?
Full
Oh, okay.
full
Okay.
squat. You're going to go down as far as you can. And the biggest problem is they took away our squatting for birthing children and for eliminating. And they gave us the throne,
Mm,
which doesn't
mm,
put the hips in the right position for birthing or eliminating.
mm, mm.
So we need to do these squats. So when you go down into a squat and you hold it and you make sure the heels are on the floor, because a lot
Yes.
of times when you squat, the heels are going to come up.
Yes.
So you
Mm.
want the heels on the floor. That was another reason why I was holding the bed so that I could get my heels down on the floor
Without toppling back.
without toppling back. You're right. And then what we're doing is we're lubricating the toes. We're lubricating the ankles, the knees, the hips, and the low back. And these are the things that are going to keep us moving forward and give us the gait and the mobility and stability that we need.
Mm.
So I recommend 3 different squats. One is with the feet together, which is the hardest one.
I
One,
can imagine.
one is where you're going to have your feet shoulder width apart and you're going to come down into a squat and you're going to reach your arms forward so you get a nice stretch in the back also. So you could put your hands, the tips of your fingers on the floor as you kind of reach forward. And then the last one is that coming down into a prayer where your elbows are pushing your knees wide. So you're getting a real good stretch in the groin there.
Wow. Wow. That is gold right there. Okay, nice. Number four.
The last one is the emotional work, and this is the one that most people don't look at. They don't want to go there. They don't want to go, you got to be able to look inside and feel the feelings and then let them go. You don't have to know why you've got the feelings. You don't have to know uh, who had anything to do with it. All you've got to do is let it go. That's it.
Well, I think it's because we don't know what we will find there if we look inwards to acknowledge, like, it's so big in here, and then we just shut all of those things down altogether, you know.
And we're very good at swallowing stuff and pushing it down further. And especially women, we've been taught not to express what we want to say, especially when we're talking to men.
Mm.
Most women, not all women.
Well, I totally agree with you. I always, because it's a conversation that we have. I work with women, right? So it's a conversation we have usually all the time. We say it's a man's world, and then, it's almost like we need to take that subservient position, or put yourself last on the list. And when you try to assert yourself, differently, then you find yourself running against the tide. You have to deal with all that drama and all of that. So totally agree with you. Like, if not all women, because I don't know all women, but I think it's something that we generally have to deal with. So what would you advise or recommend in us being able to express our needs in a way that they're heard? Because it's a thing to express what you need. It's a thing to take responsibility for yourself. It's also another thing for you to express in such a way that you are heard, understood, and get the support that you need.
Yeah. And really what it is coming back to loving yourself.
Okay.
Because then you receive that power. And it's not an overbearing power. It is this, oh my gosh, this is me. I'm back. I don't know how I lost myself, but I did. And now I'm back. And that's what this emotional work will do. It'll bring you back and you will become a whole person. And now you're functioning from a different level. You're functioning
Mm,
from the heart. You're not
mm,
functioning from the mind. It's the heart. We need to come from the heart. So what I ask people to do, there's four things that are really important. And then there's a whole program that you can do. But the four things that I ask people to do on a daily basis. In the morning, before you get out of bed, and at night when you go to bed, I want you to put your right hand on your heart, your left hand on your belly. When we do this, it's scientifically proven that our thoughts will go to where we touch. So this is going to give me better brain, heart, gut connection. We all have intuition. We all have that ability, that gut feeling. When you're walking down a dark street and there's someone approaching and you get that feeling, you know what? I need to get away from here. And and then you don't because you think, nah, right? That
mm,
initial gut feeling is what you should have done. And that first feeling, we push it down. It's like, no, that can't possibly happen, right?
mm, mm,
So this is going to bring your gut intuition back. And you will have a full knowing that yes, this is right. I need to do this now.
mm,
Right? You
mm.
know, you know that um you get a thought about somebody and your body says, you know what, I need to give them a call. And then you
Yes.
call them and they say, I was just thinking about you. That's your intuition. That's your connection. you know,
Mm,
and we all have it. So
Yes,
slowing,
yes.
slowing your body down. So while you're doing this, I want you to slow your breathing. And when you're breathing, I want it nose breathing only. Your nose, when you breathe through the nose, it connects to the parasympathetic nervous system. It does way more than that, but that's the most important thing. I want you
Mhm,
to make sure that the tongue is resting on the roof of the mouth, not on the floor. I want you to make sure that the tip of the tongue is just gently up against that little bump of gum tissue just behind those two front teeth. Do you feel it?
mhm.
Yeah. It not pushing, just connecting. This is a pressure point that connects us into the parasympathetic nervous system. In Chinese medicine, it says it connects all the meridians, all the chakras. So yes, we need to have our tongue resting there. Do you remember when you had a baby and they cried?
Mhm.
You put something in their mouth. Something went in their mouth and it soothed them. It's the same thing. And we have our tongue
Wow.
there. It should be up on the roof of the mouth and it should be just gently up against that, making the connection. And
Mm,
then I want you to slow your breathing down. See if you can slow your breathing down to 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out. Now, if I'm a real anxious person, I may not be able to get there. That's okay. You're going to go to wherever is comfortable for you because if you push to get to the 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out, you're going to be doing this and you're defeating the purpose of doing it. So
mhm.
just go to what's comfortable, but make that exhale 1 second longer. It's the exhale that brings us totally into that parasympathetic nervous system.
Wow.
So we need to connect more into that exhale. One
Mm,
second is enough. We just want to tip the scales. That's it. While you're doing
nice.
this in the morning, I want you to think of 3 things you're grateful for. One of these things needs to be you. You're going to do the same thing in the evening. 3 things I'm grateful for. You're included. And then in the morning, I want you to be very intentful on how you see your day flowing. Paint the most beautiful picture. Sometimes we don't get that beautiful picture, and sometimes I zig when I thought I was going to zag. But
Mhm.
my opinion, that zigging is for my benefit, and I'm okay with it.
Mm,
And then, if I get all uptight because of that, now it's me interfering with my day. I'm putting
mm.
that energy out there, right? I don't want
Yes,
to do that. I want to say, thank
yes.
you for the zig. I know you're watching and you're protecting
Yeah.
me. I just don't know why. And I'm gonna be
Mm,
good with that. It's just the way it
mm.
is. And then in the
Uh,
evening, when you do this, you're going to think of how your day went and you're going to count your blessings. Because when you can go to sleep with a thankful heart, you're going to sleep better. So that's number one. The number two is we have a lot of negative thoughts, tons of them, but the majority are about us. What we did yesterday or sometime in our past, what we might do in our future, who we are, how we're doing life. I'll never be good enough, all those thoughts. We need to catch those thoughts. So I encourage women to put a hair elastic around their wrist. And every time you catch a negative thought, because they are very slippery, they're kind of like fish, you can't always catch them. But when you catch one, you're going to give this a little tug. And that's a kiss. I have one here. That's a kiss.
nice.
And then you're going to let it go. That's a hug. And you're
Hmm.
going to rephrase whatever that negative thought was. And if it was, I am never going to be good enough, you're going to say, I am good enough because you are. You're going to figure out a way to rephrase that. And a lot of people will think that rephrasing, but when you can speak it, our words carry They're powerful. They carry way more vibration than my thought. And my body loves the sound of my voice, the vibration of my voice. So when I can say that, it's way more powerful. And when I can phrase it in an I am statement, I am in my world connects me to God.
Mm.
So, and then so that's that one,
Two.
connect and come back, right? And then the next one is doing some mirror work. And,
Okay.
I encourage you to, we have what we call the Braveheart Oath, and I'll recite it. And what I get people to do is to say that Braveheart Oath in front of the mirror, hopefully a full-length mirror, and you're looking deep into your own eyes, and you're bringing up as much emotion and passion as you can. So the Braveheart Oath goes, I am love, I'm healed, I am Braveheart. From the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will always trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love you. And you're looking deep into your own eyes before anything else or anyone else. So help me, God, because I am, I can, I am love, I'm healed, I'm Braveheart.
Wow.
And, it doesn't have to be those words, but it has to be honor, respect, protect,
Trust.
forgive, trust, and totally love. Because that's, especially us women, we have given that to absolutely everybody else. And we have forgotten how important this beautiful body is. These bodies are the most precious gift we have been given in this life. And we numb it out, we push it aside, we, tell it no, not now, no time, no forgiving, no, nothing. I'm going to just swallow that down and push it further so nobody knows.
Mm.
And I'm going to speak to women. Do you remember how you felt when you had that baby and your first time holding that baby? Do you remember the feeling you had for that baby? That's the feeling you need to have for yourself. And it should be first and foremost, because you cannot give what you do not have for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And then the last one, if you're a couple, then I suggest doing couples connection, which means you sit quietly looking into each other's eyes for 10 minutes. And then after the
Did you say for 10 minutes?
10 minutes, no words, just looking into each other's eyes. And you're actually sitting on the floor. His legs are straight out. You've put your legs over top of his, and you're coming as close as you can so you can hold his back and he can hold your back. And you can feel the breath. And you're going to sync your breath to each other. And then you're going to just look into each other's eyes for 10 minutes. And this is your, tell the kids or do it after the kids have gone to bed, and make a point of doing it for 33 days in a row. Do not miss it. This is your power session to reconnect with your partner. You remember when you first met him, how you felt, how you were attracted to him. That is still there. But life has kind of numbed us both out and we're not reconnecting. This is going to bring the reconnection back. That Kindle is going to start to be a flame. So after the 10 minutes, you talk about what you felt. Quite often when you look in somebody else's eyes, I mean, the eyes are the windows to the soul. And you remember and you feel those feelings. and you
Mm,
express those feelings for each other.
mm,
And sometimes too, it brings out the what you see in yourself, because sometimes it's a reflection. But just know that it'll bring the couple together. And then if you're not a couple, what I recommend, and I still recommend this even if you are a couple, is coming back to your breath. So we carry these phones with us, and every single time we pick it up, it tells us what time it is. So
mhm,
when it's close to the hour or the half hour, I want you to come back to your breath. I want you to see if you can slow it down. I mean, you could be huffing it down the street, so you're not going to slow down to six seconds in, 7 seconds out, but slow it down from where you are. Make sure your nose breathing. Where's your tongue?
mm.
You can easily do this while you're driving. You can do it while you're waiting to pay for your groceries. You can do it while you're, in the office waiting for your appointment, whatever that is. You've got lots of opportunity. Come back to the breath. The breath is the first thing that's going to put you into that sympathetic nervous system, right? Someone startled me. I'm going to go, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Or I can come back and calm that body. We need to be more like deer and animals. When I'm walking down Fish Creek Park here in Calgary and I see a deer just grazing and I step on a twig, his ears are going to go up. He's going to
mhm.
look. And I mean, this is his fight or fright, right? He's going to look. Oh, I'm not in danger. Whoop, ears go
And
down,
then go back.
back to grazing. We don't do that. We don't. We get a fright and then another one and another one and another one and another one and another one. And we are just never allowing ourselves to come back to that calm.
Yeah. And then we probably connect to memory. Oh, and this and that. Okay, we just layer back the memory, bring that into the moment, and then get all out of sync. Wow. Hmm.
Yeah.
This is good, Lorraine. Thank you so much for this. I know that we talked about, speaking to women, but I think what you have shared has to do with both men and women throughout, every age, because this is really this really speaks to us universally. And I really appreciate that we shared this today because I'm sure our viewers will also appreciate that. Oh, there's so many things I didn't know before now, and I appreciate that it's coming out. Like the couples on, I'm going to tell my husband, like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know so but anyway, so this has been very helpful. Before we wrap this up, I'm sure we'll have another session that focuses on just perimenopause and menopause. That's a different thing, but this has been so beautiful this morning. I think we can just cap this here, but
Yeah.
before we wrap things up, just let us know how women can reach you, what you can help, um maybe not only women, what you can help people with, or what you do help your clients with, and then how they can connect with you.
Okay. So I am working out of the Wellness Hub, and we are a conglomerate of a bunch of different modalities, but we are doing things differently. And when you can really get to that root cause and address what's happening, I mean that's what we have come together here as. We're addressing that root cause and how can you get get free and really live your best life and that perfect day. And then repeat, rinse and repeat, do it again, do it again, do it again. So that's what we're all about. So here I offer counseling, kind of like what I talked about today on all four levels. And I also do a body work called Wolf Non-Surgical. And it's called non-surgical because it truly is reversing the irreversible. So maybe you've got frozen shoulder. Maybe you've had that for years and you're medicating it or you're getting cortisol shots to deal with it. You're not getting to the root cause. You've got stagnation there. So I go in and do the Wolf Non-Surgical, which is therapeutic. It is not a massage. This is not a massage. That's not what you're coming for. You're coming for to open up areas of stagnation. So yes, um, it is life-changing. So life-changing on an emotional and physical level. Because the reason you got the frozen shoulder has something to do with grabbing something in life. You're not able, it's out of your reach. So that's what the frozen shoulder is all about. So we look at the emotion and we look at the stagnation. When we open up the stagnation, you have an emotional release. And then you get better blood flow, lymphatic flow there. And the body says, oh my gosh, I'm back. You know, we are changing people's lives. We're giving quality back to their life. I am seeing people with multiple sclerosis, so many different health conditions, and it all comes down to the same thing. It's inflammation in the body and where it settles in the body. And when we can open up the pathways, the blood flow is there, the lymphatic flow is there, the nervous system connection comes back. It's all about calcification, locking things down. That's why you don't want to take any more calcium. You've got enough in your body. When I can open up those areas, that calcium knows where it came from and it goes back to where it came from. Yeah, and I also have the Cell Sonic, which is an energy medicine machine, and it is the most powerful one that we know of today. And it decalcifies right down into the cells. So when the body starts to calcify, the movement's not there. You start to get lumps and bumps because now the calcification is packing up together, and then it starts to mutate depending on your health. And so this can go and open up those things and actually give the cells the vibration to become healthy at that moment.
And all this, people can connect to you through the wellness center, and
Yeah.
the website is the wellness YYC hub, right? .com.
Yes. Or you can
Okay.
give a call.
Okay. I'll put all of that information in this on this video when we upload so that people can click through and connect directly with you.
And if you wanted more information, if you're dealing with something, you know, that the doctors have said, this is your lot in life, I'm going to tell you it's not. It is not. That your body knows how to heal. We have to honor your body and we have to start where you're at. Now, if you just want to get out of pain and stay on medication, that's your lot. But if you really want to be able to let go and not walk down that road where I'm going to have a cane and then a walker and then a wheelchair and then
Mm,
a care home, you know, and
mm,
that's where the majority of the seniors are going. That's the path they're on. But they are, you know, our seniors, and I'm a senior, but we've been ruled, schooled, and fooled to believe that the medical system had all the answers. And when the medical system came in, they pretty much squashed anything that was natural. And it's been hidden and it's been forgotten, and a lot of it has been lost. We're bringing that
mm.
back because that is tried true and does work.
Work.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Lorraine, for this time today. Looking forward to bringing you back. You've heard this. I mean, it's a lot for us to digest. So I'd cancel that you go through this and connect directly with Lorraine for any help that you might need. Thank you once again, Lorraine, for today, and see you next time.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. The
Yeah.
more we can get this information out, the healthier the world gets.
Yes.